You brought up Breece Hall. You brought up Kenneth Walker. There's a guy that might start. There's a couple guys actually that might start. Dameon Pierce might start. Brian Robinson might start. But one guy that he not really looked at as a starter, but there's kind of smoke with him is Zamir White. Now, the Raiders just cut Kenyon Drake. Their starter is Josh Jacobs, right? Except for Josh Jacobs is getting preseason reps in the Hall of Fame game. They're running the ball with him a lot. He is not the guy that they should be looking to run the ball with. Now, I still think he's going to be used, but I think it's pretty clear that the future of the Raiders backfield is Zamir White because they're not going to re-sign Josh Jacobs, and they're going to run the football a lot, and they're not going to run it with one running back. Zamir White was a stud at Georgia. He's extremely elusive. He sheds a ton of tackles. He's really quick through the hole. He has great vision. Josh McDaniels is going to have a lot of fun with Zamir White and Josh Jacobs this year. So Zamir White is a guy that I'm looking at. I'm going, damn, this guy is at the very least going to be a 2. And if he is a 2, he's not going to be a normal running back 2 for a team that has, let's say, a star running back like a Derrick Henry, or even like a Dalvin Cook. He doesn't play that. Like, he doesn't play like as much as like the other stars, right? No, they're going to use him like the Patriots have used their running backs year after year after year. And he is going to get a lot of carries. He is going to get a lot of reps, and he's going to have a significant role this season. They're going to have a sweet offense. They're going to be really good. Maybe defensively, we talked about that before, but it's a little up in the air. But in terms of their offense is going to be awesome. And Zamir White is going to be a focal part of that team. And he was a guy that was kind of not really thought of in any capacity to be a starter because Josh Jacobs was on that roster. So I expect him to play a significant role, and I'm looking forward to see how he plays this season.
Yeah, Zamir White, I wanted the Ravens to draft a running back this year. So I looked into a lot of the running back. I looked into James Cook. I looked into all of the Whites. I believe there were 3 that ended up getting drafted. I looked into Dameon Pierce. I looked into Isaiah Spiller. I even looked into Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. I also looked into Brian Robinson, who was maybe my favorite rookie running back. Not the best rookie running back, but my favorite one coming out of the draft. But I loved what I saw out of Zamir White, and him coming in, and the whole situation in Las Vegas now was, okay, we have Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I've talked about this before. I've talked about, before AFS, before, not on TTB, we would talk about, the Raiders and stuff like that. And I talked about how I felt like Josh Jacobs was the most overrated running back in the NFL. And I knew people, and they were like, no, Josh Jacobs, at some point in his career, going to be a top 5 back. And I'm like, I don't know if Josh Jacobs will ever be a top 10 running back in the NFL. Now, is he a competent starter? Yes. I have no problems with saying that. But overall, he doesn't have breakaway speed. He's kind of just like, okay, I'll get you a couple of yards, and that's how you think of him. But he is the least efficient 1-yard run gainer in the NFL. Somehow, when it's like seen as like the only Josh Jacobs highlights you ever see is 1-yard line jumps over the offensive line. I swear this is the only highlight I ever see. And then you find out and he's like, yeah, he bats about 25% or something like that on 1-yard attempts on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and from the goal line and stuff like that. And you're like, why doesn't this work? That's what he should be good at. That's why you drafted him, was to be the short yardage chain mover. And then you get Zamir White, and it's like, wow, this guy's explosive. He can catch the ball. He's younger, and he's on contract for the next, 3 seasons. So why would they not try and use him? And also, we're getting a Patriots-based offense. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've seen some Patriot games in the last, 20 years of my life. I feel like it's never been one player running the football every single time. Not once. I don't care who was there, whether it was LeGarrette Blount back in, 2017. He was kind of the guy. It was never Sony Michel. Yeah. It's always been a running back by committee because they just love all the different guys. It was James White. It was Brandon Bolden, who's actually on the roster now. It's last year even. Who was it? It was Damian. It was Damian. Can't even remember his last name.
Harris.
Damian Harris.
And Ramondre Stevenson's going to be this year.
Yeah, and Ramondre Stevenson.
But they're still going to use the other guys.
Yeah. And it's like they want to use him. Zamir White is going to become, I mean, he could come out and be the James White type of player potentially, maybe initially to kind of get some traction in the NFL, just to get him the ball in space. And then when they realize, hey, we don't really like Josh Jacobs because he's inefficient, and now the team is built around, kind of a passing offense. So because you have Devontae Adams and you have Darren Waller and you have Hunter Renfrow, it's going to open up the space. The linebacker, because you have to crowd the box. Why? Because Darren Waller's going in the middle. Hunter Renfrow is going in the middle. And they're running the football up the middle. Well, now they're like, oh no, we have to cover Devontae Adams out the outside. So it's going to be more open in the box. It's going to be more space. Zamir White is going to be able to get the football, and he's going to make a lot of plays this year. Now, is he going to rush for 1,200 yards and put up 14 touchdowns? No, he is not. But he's going to be a player that you're going to be watching in Sunday Night Football, and maybe you bet against the Raiders, or maybe you've got Josh Jacobs in fantasy. I do not recommend that whatsoever. But you're going to be like, stop giving the ball to this dude. It's so annoying. He keeps making plays. That should be Jacobs yards, or stop getting yards on my team. Like, it's just going to be really frustrating because it's just going to keep happening, because every year we get these later round rookies that come in as running backs, and their, starting running back is maybe a little bit older, maybe not the guy that, teams initially want. And it may take a few weeks, but eventually they're going to become the starter. Look at the Baltimore Ravens. Look at Mark Ingram, the starting running back. Who do they draft? J.K. Dobbins. Late second round pick, and they're just going in there and they're like, hey, wait a minute. This Mark Ingram guy is kind of slow and he's not very explosive. Let's give it to this J.K. Dobbins guy because he's super explosive in space and can break tackles. That's going to be Zamir White for them. Oh, wow. We're not getting anything out of Josh Jacobs. We need someone to make an explosive play. Oh, let's give it to the explosive running back that we have on our roster.
Dude, he's quick. He has really good vision. He has really good vision. And I know Georgia's really good too. So it's like, but like he sheds, he waits, he's very patient. I'm excited for it.